How do we get from one thing to many things? There's a step in between called many of one. Let's see how that played out in this live coding session. And we're back. Hello. Welcome to the Quality Coding live stream, all the mistakes live. Hey, Mudshark and Dan. Happy to have you both. Other folks check in. We'll get the other people joining. Let's see. Oh yeah, generic introductions for after the fact YouTubers. Hello, my name is John Reed. I am a coach for programmers. I am the author of this book, which is surprisingly still relevant, but its relevance is starting to diminish. Don't ask when the next book is. No, don't. Don't even. Let's not even talk about that. But I do plan to start blogging. How are you? How was your past week? For me, oddly enough, with all the excitement of last week, my excitement was sitting around with my family on vacation and going around doing stuff together. Oh, thanks, Dan. And actually had an interesting moment sitting on a beach in Southern California watching a surf competition. That's not something I've ever done before. We watched just a little bit of it. But I sat sitting there with one of my kids. They're adults. And realizing, oh man, I feel good. The sun feels good. The air feels good. The sand feels good. Taking in the sights, and it's really cool watching people who are really good at something, because this was a a competition, and I thought, wow, I am so content, and I'm away from a computer or any sort of screen. It was great. Anyway, I hear other folks, you all had probably an exciting week last week with WWDC and the announcement, especially the announcement of Swift testing. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet because I just back. I'm still a little tired from the trip back. So we'll see if we go the full 90 minutes today. Hope so. If not, if I get tired, I'll just punt. But I hope to get a chance to play with Swift testing. I featured my oh, thank you. Yes, happy Father's Day to all fathers out there. And Swift testing did have a strong role in the talk I just gave in at Swiftcraft. But that was like me talking about it, and I have some things I want to try with it. So excited to give it a go. Have you given it a go? If you have any thoughts, ponderings on Swift testing, put it in the chat. Why not? We are working on Mastermind. And let's see here. Where is... Oh, yeah. Mastermind. Let's see. What are we doing? We're doing our slice of Mastermind instead of the full-on game. We're doing our vertical slice where we are using one tap of color to guess with one hole. And right now we have... Here, I'll show you. Oop, let me start that again. we have a single peg in which to guess and a single color to use to guess. Woo! And that's it. That's what we have so far. So actually, if I look at the discovery tree, we did this. We show the target as empty now, which means the styling is pretty good. I think it could use some space. Maybe I'll just add padding just to keep them separated for now. Why don't we do that? If I can remember how. Padding. Help! There we go. Are you gonna update? What the heck? Why does that padding? Wow. Okay, any guesses here? How come I've got the code guess view in this H stack and the code choice view spacing? Woo! Spacer. So spacer of view. Like that. There we go. Kind of big, but hey, whatever. I just want to separate them. So gross, but it does the trick. Okay. Clearly, I need to get my brain back in gear here. It's still a little spacey. I got lots of coffee. And my, look, yeah, my Father's Day mug. The one I always use when I'm on here. Partly because my other favorite mug from CocoConf has green, and so it'll get become transparent with my green background. Okay. Do I like that? I don't know if I like it. Forget it. We'll come back to that. Hey, Eric. Good to have you. Back to the Miro. So styling to separate the guess from the picker. We have that now with the white outline or white rounded rectangle for the code choice view and the concentric circles for the code guess view. So I'm going to say that's done too. So we tap a color and set the guess hole. Actually, one more thing I thought of, and that is on the tests here. The test name is now inaccurate. Tapping blue color turns guess blue. There's no blue in here anymore. We're doing you tap code peg 1 and you get its color. So tapping color 1 turns guess what to say, I don't know, changes or sets guess color, something like that. That's better. And actually, I think this precondition, it might make sense now to split this off into 2 tests. Because we now have, it was originally red or some random color. And now we definitely want to set the color to unselected color. And that gets back to another thing, sorry, just finding my way back here. a really good idea, something that I haven't used much, and that is to do the asset catalog. Let's do that as just a bit of cleanup of this task. All right, so I'm going to set this back in motion, and let's do this. Just some refactoring before we move on too quickly from tap color sets guess hole. I wanted to concentrate on some refactoring. And chime in if you see stuff, as always. The usual gang here so far, it looks like. Just a few of you, and that's fine. Everyone's DC'd out. So what have I done? I've changed the test name. So let's get that in. Oh, I have not set up my terminal. Wow, I'm so out of it. That I forgot to set up my terminal for you all. And I forgot to set this up. Geez. The good news for you is that I'm done with my vacations now. I've gone to various places, too many trips in a short time, and my wife and I are just ready to stay home for a while. So I'm going to be around. This is a test-only change. Improve test name. And I forgot to pull, but that should be okay. Push. Okay, what were we going to do? We were going to work on the asset colors. We specifically have, what do we have? Background color and unselected color. And I'm going to leave blue alone there because I don't know what we want. But let's get these in. I'm trying to think of what the easiest way to do this is. Safest way to do this is. It would have been nice if these had been extensions on color. Oh well. Let's do the obvious thing. Hey, Eric. Yeah, you haven't seen much of the discovery tree. It is, I'll show you why it's better or how it improves on a standard Kanban flow. There is the general flow you can see in terms of whether something is in progress or yet to be done or completed. We also have blocked. The thing about Kanban is that it is very linear. And the nice thing about this is that it's a tree. So all of a sudden we get multiple dimensions. And look at this. We can see for each thing, what subtasks did we discover? Didn't necessarily plan. Heck, we definitely didn't plan all this stuff. We found it out as we went along. So that's the cool thing that this discovery tree gives you. Let me see. I'll post an article for you. Here we go. Check this out. Yeah, give it a try. It is cool. And basically, it's like subtasking in a way. It just becomes built in along with other. Oh, yeah, there is a template in Miro. The guy who wrote that article, my friend Steve, created a template for it. And another nice thing is that because it's just a Miro, a whiteboard, you can do anything you want. Slap images here. Down below, I remember, we have a section where we worked on something that wasn't really about tasking. It was about trying to discover the domain and do some story mapping to see what is important and what we can defer. So up here is like the super important stuff, and down here are things that it's like, no, not as important. So we won't do them now. Exactly, yeah. That's a good way to put it. It is very mind mappy. Nice. Very good analogy. All right, colors. We want let me open this next door. Come back. Come back. Why did I do that? Here we go. Nope. I'm trying to get rid of the canvas there, and I thought it was something enter. Control Command Option Enter. Let's try it again. Okay. So maybe I just didn't have it in the right, with the right focus. I don't know. But this is what I wanted to get to. Okay, let's add this will be background. And how do I... There. Like, how do I edit this thing? And how do I get the background? Oh, man. Loading point. Oh, here we go. Nice. Let's 227, 231, 234. That should do that one. So in theory, and I'm going to need a little help here. Having set that up, I now want to use it. Every place we have this, how do I do that? How do I use it? How do I use it? Okay. Thank you, Eric. I shall give that a try. give it a fresh build in case the asset needs to get in there. Is that the right name? Well, it looks like it. Yes. Good. Okay. So, like that. Any other uses of background? Color, I don't see it. What about in tests? Don't see it. I should be able to get rid of it. It becomes an extension. And I noted that it, with the proper sort of capitalized name, it turned it into the correct capitalization here, and that was what was confusing me. I was expecting capital B, but of course it shouldn't be. All right, so that's really just a styling change, but it is visible. I verified it. It's good. We don't have snapshot tests. I don't have any. So just seeing it in the preview is good enough. Let's get that in there. What is this? It is, I would say that's low risk styling, but I don't know what to call it. It's almost like a environment, maybe? Is it a feature? It is kind of environment-y, but it's not like, it is a code change. I'm gonna make up here and do move background color into assets. How's that? That's good. And one more. Let's do the other one. Now that I have an idea of what's going on. We are going to add background unselected. $185, $195, $198. So here I should be able to say like this, yes? Maybe not. Maybe it can't tell that it's a color up front. Come on, give it to me. I'm being thrown off by the just by the syntax coloring there. Oh well. Here's another. I doubt that we have any here. I should be able to get rid of that. And again, we should just be able to see it like that. So that's good. Let's get that in. Just out of paranoia, running the tests. I don't have a dark theme. So are you saying I should... Well, let me get this in first. So, are you saying the dark appearance really ought to, until I create a dark version, it really ought to match? I'll buy that. I assume that's what you mean. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there a way to... Oh, how about... Right there. That's an environment change, not a code change. Oh. Uh-oh. Lost my cursor there for a second. Making changes. Okay, so here. Got it. Like that. Thank you. Yeah, that's better. Nice. Hey, Bill. Hey, for those of you who don't already follow Mr. William Wake here on Twitch, check out, he's always doing wild stuff in Swift most of the time. So, yeah, Mr. Bill Wake. Do give him a follow right now. I mean it. And then if you're lucky, you might be able to catch one of his streams. And he streams more often than I do, since he is a man of leisure. One day, Bill. Right, so that's definitely an environment only change. So that's make colors or remove what? Remove dark mode from colors for now. Okay, so that does that. And now let's call that done. Let's call this done. Let's call this done. And we can work up the tree now and say everything here. Oh, wait, add second code. That's under here. That would be nice. That seems like a good plan to continue, is to add add something that's not blue, and maybe let's match the hello pixelmator. Maybe match these colors. Oh, one thing I found, again, I'm copying this other app. I'm not going to publish it. Don't worry if anyone's watching. There's a slight gradient here. I tried to get like, what's the matching brown, black, but it's got this nice gradient. Is that something we should work on? And it's like, not if you're trying to ship this, get this into the hands of a customer for feedback. No, that's a nice thing to put off until later. So let's say we want to match the colors though. I mean, if this is brown, yeah. All right, let's work on adding another color. So we want brown and we want black. And this is going to start getting interesting because this, now we're going to add some duplication. And who knows where it's going to go. This is one of the best parts about TDD. The design, you can have a design. You can sketch things out. You can draw stuff. You can do draw. I mean, I don't have an example here, but you can sketch out whatever you want, classes and their relationships, CRC, classes, relationships, and collaborations. You can do all that. But it's kind of a guess. It's a plan, but the truth comes out in the code. Nice to have. That's a good note. I'm just going to add a note here. Move tests closer. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I remember what that is. You use gradient for code colors. Something like that. Yeah, thanks for not letting that escape. So to add a second code, there it is. Let's make it black. I believe that is the next color up. And so I'm now gonna, Now I'm pausing. There are two ways to do this. One is to go ahead and just code it in there and then figure out what structure I want. Or I'm rethinking this. There is a delightful pattern that Llewellyn Falco calls many of one. That between one, we currently have a single guess or code color. To go from one to many, as we have here, any number of them, there is a step in between, and that is to have many of one. Yes. Let's do that. So let me note that in the Miro. First, it's the steps are first get to many of one, and then you get to many, because we already have the one. Many, which is the second one. So let me undo this change. I'll just go ahead and keep this brown. Actually, let's back off all the way. All the way. Should be clean. Okay. Many of one. So I want code pegs, essentially, an array of them. And I want them going up. With one, though, we can't really tell. It doesn't really matter whether it goes up or down, but let's see if we can't get it. Okay, so let's say let code pegs equals like that. Yep. That's fine. It's not a peg. What's a better word? When I think of peg, I think of these things. I'll have to think about that. Code choice, we call it here. Choice could be better. All right, let's back off and do some renaming. That is an automated refactoring. Yay! Pretty sure that's what I did. Wait, get show staged? No. How do I show? Get diff staged. Code peg, code choice. Yeah. Good. Let's keep renaming. Code peg 1 becomes code choice 1. Guess. I guess a choice. Take a quick look at the where in the renaming in struggling to find the name. Remember, it's a progression. We keep making it better. Yeah, and now that I look at this, I remember that I wanted to change this test, so it no longer had the precondition, but it had the color of let me come back to that, because going to many of one might, and it's gonna change things, right? All right, let's try again. Okay, code choices. or guesses. Given one of these, the code guess view. Oh, we got guess one. Guess one because we have one slot in which to guess. The code choice view. Look at this. Code peg. How to do this? Like how to change this into a loop that goes backwards, ideally, with extra stuff. I may need more information in the struct itself. Especially about the ID. Right? Okay. Debate. Fight. Okay. Now, let's loop. I'm just going to start naively here. And you can help me again. For each see, this ID is I'm starting to debate keeping more in there. It was kind of a guess, maybe too much design to say we need a. No, it's not really too much design. I don't think to just go with the color. You mean? And I think I'd rather represent the domain concept. And use it instead of primitives. Color in this case would be like using a primitive, and then we'd end up with primitive obsession code smell all over the place and have to change that into a code choice and whenever, well, anytime. So, what if we add an ID? By the way, why is this a var? Can't it be a let? A simple code value. Oh, you mean like that? Something like that? And yet it's sort of encoded by its position in the array as well. I assume that's what you mean, Mud Shark. Something like that. Let's, yeah. For the sake of moving forward, right? It's like, do we do it this way or do we do it that way? And what's better? And um, programmers are, we often get all tangled up, and it's often good just to say, you know what, this isn't perfect. There's something about it that seems weird, but it moves us forward. So this, instead of code choice 1, this becomes code choice. This becomes, again, just to match. Because my hope is that the test will still pass. Phew! See, if this had been anything else, like, I don't know, that fails. We could even do, I think, code choices reversed. I think that's where it would be in the order that I want. This should still pass because we only have the one. I don't know why it popped up the simulator at that point. There's nothing calling for reversed yet. So, you know, is this premature? Maybe. But it should still, whoops, darn it. Keep doing that. That's my something I use a lot. Right, so that's just quick visual confirmation. Even though the tests pass, sometimes it's good to see. Reverses does a reversed array? Pretty sure. Anyway, this reverse, yeah, one reverse does in place reverse with a D gives a second array that is reversed. I must say, Swift naming is really good. It's one of the best parts of the language, I think, is the attention that has been given to naming in the APIs. All right, so this is many of one. And I'm going to check this in. Right? Yeah. So that is a is it a feature? It's test supported. I haven't changed anything. I've just added a little bit of something. So, yeah. For the whoa, what is this? Eric. Thank you. I appreciate it. I had the good pleasure. Bill, let me tell you about Eric. I just got back from Swiftcraft in the UK, and Eric William Wake is like my senior. He was at Industrial Logic right before I joined, uh, and is just he's a pro. He's the guy who well, he's created lots of stuff, but you would know him as if you use arrange act assert, that's Bill Wake. So so Bill, I meet this young guy named Eric who is all like super interested and practicing TDD and doing all the right stuff. Um, and we'd never crossed paths. And so it was like, wow, love it. Then the next generation coming up. Um, so it was really great to make that connection. And now, hey, you two know each other now a little bit virtually through my descriptions of you. So go check each other out. Let's see. Okay, so many of one marked that in progress by mistake. Okay, so now I should be able to add. This is good. Black. Here's the weird thing. I can reverse it here, or I can just say, this is code choice 1, code choice 2, and maybe I'll just reverse it right here. Oh, gonk. Yo, Franklin! Welcome and thanks for saying hello. And I'm excited to have you here, my friend. Yeah, we got we've got a small crowd. We got a good crowd. We're missing some good people, but I'm liking the folks who are here. That's a good question. Do these add value? I don't know. Oh, and you know what? This is not what I want. Let's see if I can't do a reversed here. Yeah, that works. Okay, so if that works, why doesn't this work? I could just stick them in. But first, a mystery. Code choices is not concurrency safe because it's not isolated. Interesting. Even though it is just in the process of creating it, a reference to it, because it's a global, other things could start to already refer to it. This is my interpretation of the warning, and tell me if it matches yours. Because code choices is just out there, in the wild, it's globally accessible. Yeah, maybe it should be private, maybe not. The fact that I set it up, it's a bit of a surprise because to me, it seems to me like the assignment wouldn't take place until this is finished. But, you know, this is where it puzzles me a bit, but it's like, eh. Oh, because it's lazy. Really? Huh. That would do it. In any case, one thing we definitely want, and let me put that down here as a note, is choices layout vertically. All right. So I'm just gonna stick this in. Oh, wait. This is one of those times I need to learn to reach for the context menu because it offers good stuff. Even if most of this is not helpful, this is. Okay. Alignment, a little funny, but it's good. Now I want them the other way. And so the simplest way is just to define it like that, right? Instead of doing a reverse. Let's do this. Oh, yeah. This should be brown. Thank you. Come on. Come on. Show me brown. Confirm that. There we go. Thank you. And again, because the test is now insensitive to the actual color, that should still pass. It's still pointing at this, I'm pretty sure. But let's check this in. Now this is interesting. And I don't know what you think about this. This is feature work that wasn't driven by a test. But I'm okay with it. Like, I feel fine. Is there something in here that should like the colors, you should just be able to change those. That shouldn't affect any behavior. If I get some other value in here, if these have IDs that are the same, will it get mad? It gets wrong. Okay, so that looks like a risk. That looks like something I want to ensure. Right now, having done this work, just by slapping in and going from many of one to many, which is a small step, it seems like there's still some safety checks that ought to be in place, looking for the bugs, looking for if somebody comes along and changes it to some other color that matches, or a code value rather, that should be wrong. It's kind of I don't know. Sort of. It doesn't feel spiky to me though. It feels like the steps are so small. The thing that I want to ensure, two things. One is that the code values are unique. The other is that the colors are not the same. This is interesting. Let's note this. I haven't checked this in, but I want to check it in because what we've done here so far is good work. So it's like, forgive me, but I think I broke a rule of TDD and I'm okay with it. For this case. Sometimes code just comes spilling out. Let's get this in. Let's not lose what we have. I think this is valuable. And that is the low risk feature. It could be, but I want let's look at the tests. I'll show you. In the test, so right now we have code choice 1, code choice 2, and I believe we have, yes, a direct reference to code choice 1. Let's start working on some of this. Cleaning it up. Because what we could do is, instead of code choice 1, I could say, take a particular code choice. But also, I want tests on the code choices that they have been set up correctly. Here, a very clever type-focused person, type-driven development. Yeah. I don't know where they belong. A very clever type-driven development type person could create an array that is guaranteed to be unique, where like you set it up and it checks itself, and I'm like, yeah, could do that. Or I can just write a test. Let's write. Actually, first let's replace code choice 1 with code choices. Hey, okay, Flanker, do you need a step back? Isn't the problem that code choices need to be unique to go into a for each, and that's what needs ensuring and testing? I mean, yeah, that would be one way of doing it, but should I do it that way? Let's look at what the last change was. Okay, so we did do the VStack, which was important. But other than that, I believe that's the only change. So you're suggesting that take a step back, basically ensure the integrity of the code choices. Maybe, as Bill says, they need to move out into their own thing, their own world, because it's really a domain concept. It's not a view thing. The only viewish thing about it is that it has a color. It can also have a code for accessibility. I'll show you. Settings, colorblind, like that. So they can look a little different. I like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing. Maybe these don't need to be color this and color that. Maybe the IDs can just be ints. It's not quite an enum. It feels like it, except, again, thinking ahead, maybe too many steps, but thinking ahead is that you can have, where is it? Oh, here. How many colors are there? How many choices are there? It depends. It depends. So there, you could have an enumeration with like all the choices, but then of that, we need a fixed set of like, these are the ones we are playing with. Got an, yeah, Bill. We're dancing around primitive obsession. It's like we need down the road and thinking, just doing a little bit of design in our heads. We need, this is the set of colors of all codes, but here's the set we are playing with. But we don't have that idea right now. So we'll have, and it's not a set, it's a list. A list of colors we are playing with. Codes. Okay. I do like okay, Flanker's idea of reverting back. And yes, I guess it was kind of spiky in the end. like that. Kind of just reverting that for now. I'm also not liking this Pyramid of Doom because we have one thing and another thing, but the layout's going to change. Let's not get ahead of ourselves there. Okay, so pulling back to one choice for now. Mm-hmm. Yep, feels like it could be a subview. Event storming. Tell me about event storming. I've definitely heard that term. The background instead of a Z stack. Oh, on the H stack. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, let's... First, let's pull back. Yes, that is... Got it. That is neat. Around event storming. So... this is like... sort of undoing the feature part of it, but yeah, I'm going to say... Pull back, pull back. And let's... It's like to do this, we need... we need a new... for code choices. All right, so this is done. Okay, I can feel myself starting to get a little tired because I just got back from trip yesterday, but game to keep going. But it also feels like we've just discovered something new, a new direction, which is fun. It's cool. I love seeing design emerge. Let's fix up the... Here's what I'd like to do. Before we get into this, let me flip these around. I'll just call it one thing. Before we do that, let's code choice 1. Kind of a continuation of the many of one, in a way. Oh, sorry. I haven't approved you. I keep. Sorry. Um, Shoot. I wonder if you try to get around my bot until I give you permission, and I don't want to take time to do that right now. Um, if you're on Mastodon, uh, or Twitter, you post it out there and so that everyone can see it. If you just DM it to me, only I will see it, and it would be, yeah, all right. Um, Maybe next time. Oh, here it comes. Nice, 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 nice. Right. Cab delivery company kata. This looks like a cool kata. I'm going to check that out. Thank you. Let us fix up the tests and probably call it a day. Yeah, I'm very, very curious about that. Tapping, like... Okay, now I think I want to separate out this sort of the first part of the test, and that is that it is not any of the colors. Okay, come back to that, John. Color 1. Code choice 1. What to do? You can tell I'm getting tired because I'm starting to, my brain is starting to go down rabbit trails. I mean, it always does, but it's getting really rabbity. But I want to get code choice 1 out of there. How about we extract this? Oh, it's not going to do that. Choices. I mean, there better be a code choice in there. Do I just want it to crash? I'm going to be lazy. There's still a 1 here. That's incorrect. This seems excessive. But let's stay in green and see if gosh, my brain. I'm so tired. Try again. Okay. Help this poor guy out. My brain is tired. Let's finish by switching. Like, that should be okay. But now we want there. Thank you. So this is really tapping code choice sets guess color. I mean, this is where I like the longer stream. I feel we get more done, that our chunks weren't quite fitting within an hour, especially with preamble and discussion at the end. But I'm feeling the edges of my Pomodoro. My personal biological Pomodoro timer has gone. Let's get this in, because this is progress. It moves us away from code choice 1, which I can now make private, at least, or inline. We'll see. Right. Hang on. Let me undo that for a second. To make this a test-only change, low risk, test only. Don't refer to code choice 1. With that in place, let's do a little bit of cleanup. Now let's change the ID to just the value. ID. Okay, this is a little ugly. There we go. And over here, hopefully like that. Question is everything happy? It is. So let me try that again. Let's start from here. Yeah, I'm getting tired. Here we are. We're changing the ID in the test. John. View with ID. Okay, there. We changed the ID. We're now go back. Yeah. This is starting to reveal some other things about it, isn't it? Isn't it? You're right. But let's wrap up. Okay, now that fails because this is no longer a string. It's the same thing I just did, but I wanted to check myself. As far as the order in which I did it, to learn to keep growing as a TDDer. Why the heck are those vars? Code, it never stops. So this is I would say, kind of a refactoring. Change. Simplify. Let me make some notes before we wrap up. This is done. I would like a new thing here. The thing we are discovering right now is that the ID it's like we've got sort of ID and ID and question about whether it can be a computed property. Let me just make a note. Revisit. Like that. Okay, so that's where we'll pick up next time. Let's finish off with a retro. What did we do? We did one too many of one. So that's a good thing. I'm really pleased with how that came out. Any other thoughts, learnings, observations that you had while we did this? What else did we learn? We got the color assets. Let's just do a quick review here. More renaming. Oh, uniqueness. Yep. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, that's cool. I love it when stuff emerges. Don't you? It's like one of the best parts of TDD. My favorite part of TDD is still refactoring. But I love the emergent part of it. where it's like stuff comes bubbling out, because we can design as we go. We can design, do just enough. You might say TDD is just in time coding. It's also just in time design. No regressions. Yeah. All right, folks. This has been a good time. In spite of, thanks for sticking with me in spite of being tired from my trip. I do plan to explore Swift testing, but first I need to do more reading about it. I haven't seen a single dub video yet, thanks to my family vacation. So I've got a lot of catching up to do. So before I jump ahead and I shouldn't just start blathering on about something when there's useful stuff out there. So I'm going to catch up. We will be back next week and for the foreseeable future. There'll still be a week off here and there when I go visit family. But other than that, expect to see me around. Folks who are watching this on YouTube, hey, you made it all the way here? Give me a like. It's good feedback for me. It's not just training the algorithm. It helps me to know whether any of this matters. Thank you for coming by. This was a fun crowd today, and I really appreciate you. And we'll see you again next week. Take care.